Nestled at the foot of misty hills, there once lived an elderly woman named Mira. Her cottage was tiny, its roof covered in moss, its walls worn by years of rain and sun. Yet inside that little home lived something the world had largely forgotten: true contentment. Mira owned no gold, had no family, and her hands were rough from a lifetime of work. Still, she carried a calm glow in her eyes that made even strangers feel warm and at ease. Every morning, her routine was simple. She brewed tea over a small clay stove, tended her little garden of herbs, and sang songs from her childhood, songs that no one else seemed to remember. The villagers adored her. When their hearts were heavy or life felt unfair, they knew a visit to Mira would soothe their troubles. She had no magic words, no grand advice, but her peaceful smile and quiet presence somehow made their worries feel lighter. One quiet night, as the wind whispered through the trees, there was a soft knock at her door. Mira opened it and found a tall man dressed in a gray cloak. His eyes sparkled with an ancient mystery. "Good evening, kind lady," he said, his voice smooth and deep. "I've wandered far and heard of your peaceful heart. I bring you a choice tonight." "A choice?" Mira asked softly, setting down her teacup. "Yes," the traveler said, stepping aside to reveal the path behind him. "There are 3 paths waiting for you beyond the hill. At the end of one lies your deepest desire. The other 2 lead only to emptiness." Mira smiled, her face crinkling at the corners of her eyes. "I'm too old for desires, young man. I have everything I need right here." But the traveler insisted. "Just one look. Sometimes even peace must choose its path." Curious, Mira wrapped her shawl around her shoulders and followed him up the hill. They reached a clearing under the brilliant moonlight. There, standing silently in the grass, were 3 doors, one made of shining silver, one carved from dark, sturdy oak, and the last, an old iron door covered in rust and twisting vines. "Choose," the traveler said, his voice a low hum. Mira studied them quietly. The silver door gleamed, promising riches. The oak door felt strong, hinting at power and respect. But her gaze settled on the last one. Without hesitation, she placed her trembling hand on the rusted door. The traveler raised an eyebrow, surprised. "Why this one? It looks forgotten, abandoned." Mira smiled gently. "Because all the good things in my life came disguised as trouble, and all the glittering things never stayed." She pulled the door open slowly. Inside was nothing but dust and silence. No treasure, no light, only a vast, quiet emptiness. The traveler waited, expecting disappointment, perhaps even tears of regret. But Mira only chuckled softly, a sound like rustling leaves. "Aren't you disappointed?" he asked, genuinely puzzled. "Not at all," she said, her voice full of warmth. "I was born with nothing, and I still have my smile. That's more than enough." For a moment, the traveler said nothing. Then, with a quiet sigh, he opened the other 2 doors himself. Behind the silver door shone piles of sparkling jewels and mountains of gold. Behind the oak door was a vision. Mira as a young woman, beautiful and vibrant, surrounded by admirers and endless luxury. "You could have had this," he whispered, his voice filled with a strange awe. "Wealth, youth, power, a second chance at a different life." Mira looked at him kindly, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. "A second chance to forget who I am? No, I would rather keep my peace than chase a dream that never ends." She turned and walked back down the hill, her small lantern glowing softly in the night. Back to her little home. Back to the warmth of her clay stove and the quiet song waiting in her heart. The traveler stood there for a long, long time, watching her disappear into the mist. And as he did, a small smile crept onto his own face. For now he finally understood. True happiness isn't hidden behind glittering doors or grand promises. It's found in gratitude, in peace, and in the quiet strength of a heart that needs nothing more. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe for more.